Why, hello there. So this morning, I really feel like a nice quick breakfast, and I saw on a Netflix show that's hosted by Nadiya Hussein this peanut butter and jelly pancake tray bake thing, and so I thought that I'd give it a shot. So I've got all the ingredients in front of me here that I'm going to be using, but I am manipulating her recipe just a little bit. So I do need flour and sugar, of course. I need peanut butter and jelly and some baking powder, a couple of eggs, salt, vegetable oil. Now, here are the things that I'm changing just a little bit. Because I have some ripe bananas laying around in the house, I'm actually going to add a banana to this, and it's going to be a peanut butter, jelly, and banana tray bake, which is how I like my peanut butter and jelly sandwiches anyway. I'm also replacing the full-fat milk with buttermilk, which is a super traditional ingredient in American pancakes, so that's happening today. And for my vegetable oil, I'm going to be using olive oil. Because we don't use a whole lot of this vegetable oil, the flavor isn't going to come out in the pancakes too much. We really should taste the fruit and the buttermilk and the sugar, and it's going to be super delicious. So in just a second, we're going to put together our batter. I just want to prepare my banana, get it all sliced up, and put my jam and peanut butter into their bowls. All right, it is time to mix our batter because I have my peanut butter and jam ready to go, and I have sliced my bananas beautifully. So we're going to prepare the pancake batter that's going to go into our tray bake. First things first, we need to measure out about 250 grams of flour. I'm going to use my handy dandy kitchen scale to do that for me today. And there we are, 250 grams of flour. The next thing that goes in is 3 tablespoons of granulated sugar. And then to make it nice and puffy, we're going to use a whole teaspoon of baking powder. And then finally, we need a half a teaspoon of salt. And that's all of our dry ingredients. We'll whisk these really, really quickly together. And at the same time, we're just going to make a little well in the center of the bowl. And then we're going to add our wet ingredients into the middle. That means our buttermilk, both of our eggs, and finally our vegetable oil. That's going to be 2 tablespoons. And then, of course, we mixy. Now, this is part of the fun of readjusting a recipe on your own. As you can see, the buttermilk, it will be delicious, but because buttermilk is really, really thick, it has made my batter just a little bit thicker than it should be. So in order to fix this problem, I'm just going to add 1 or 2 tablespoons of non-fat milk. Not a lot, just a splash. I'd say that was probably about 2 tablespoons. And it's going to just be enough to loosen up the batter a little bit without changing the flavor. Because we got to get it out of the whisk. Now that is looking much more like it. So it looks like we have our batter finished. And just to give you some perspective there, that probably took me about 2-3 minutes to mix up, so not long at all. Now, we do need to preheat our oven to about 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius, and we need to spray with nonstick spray or grease a 9-inch baking casserole dish. Next things next, we're going to put all of our batter into the casserole dish, and then just do a quick bit to make sure that we spread it out evenly. We're almost ready to put on our toppings and to bake. We are in our final stages. We've got our peanut butter and jelly off to the side. You can see here that I've actually microwaved the peanut butter to make it nice and loose because this is what's going to help us to get that swirl. I probably have too much peanut butter here, and honestly, that's okay. We're just going to dot the whole batter with our peanut butter and then our jam. And now, I'm literally just going to use the end of my spoon here to swirl, swirl, swirl. And then finally, my last optional ingredient, my bananas, I'm just going to plop them into the swirl. All right, so tray bake complete. We're going to put this in the oven for 10 to 15 minutes. The oven, and here she is after 15 minutes. At 350 degrees or 180 degrees Celsius. Now, how do we know that this is actually done? The toothpick test. If we can insert a toothpick into the middle of this, now I've picked like a little piece of the actual pancake, because of course if I put it in the peanut butter or in the jelly, it's going to be wet. And if I take it out and we don't see any batter on the toothpick, then it looks like we're all finished. Now, as much as I would love to cut into this and enjoy a piece right now, I'm gonna have to wait until it cools off. So we're gonna go ahead and cut it together in about 10 minutes. So we've let our tray bake cool for about 10 or 15 minutes, and lo and behold, I was actually, because I made a small version, able to transfer this whole bake onto a lovely little plate, and that's gonna just make it a lot easier for me to slice. So we're gonna grab ourselves a knife and see what's what. All right, here we go. And there we are, peanut butter jelly and banana tray bake. Enjoy!